at Sapphire Spas manufacturing in Australia. We're about to go through the full process of showing you how our spa is actually manufactured, put together, and the whole production process. So if you'd like to come along with us, we're happy to take you there, and you'll get a fair idea on how we put them together. So we start with acrylic sheet, which is Perspex, coloured Perspex, and this is the sample of the sheet that we're going to use. It is 3.2 millimetre thick. We are going to sand, vertically sand the sheet, which this sheet has been sanded, and then we are going to put it onto the vacuum form. This is our mould. We manufacture the moulds as well. This is the mould or the shape of the actual spa itself. So we're going to take this acrylic sheet up into these clamps here. We're going to clamp that into place, and we're then going to slide the acrylic sheet to our heating system here. And what you're hearing in the background is the vacuum pump. So that's just warming up and getting enough vacuum in the tanks that we have outside. So we have a certain amount of vacuum that we need to actually draw out of this shell, which will then force the atmosphere to push the acrylic down into the shell. Okay, so where we are underneath here, we have our acrylic sheet clamped into the clamps here. We have our ceramic heating discs, if you like, upstairs, and they're going to be heating the acrylic sheet up to 160 degrees C, which will then make this acrylic sheet very, very viable. Okay, so we're at a stage now, we're just starting to heat the acrylic sheet. We're testing it at the centre here. At the moment I think it's sitting around about 60 degrees Celsius. We need it at 160. So progressively we check to make sure that everything's heating up nicely. Product vacuum formed, still on the acrylic sheet itself. We've still got to go through some more processes, but that's what you get. That is the shape of the spa, and that's the start. So the next stage is going to be the fiberglassing stage, which you can see behind me. What we're actually doing is bonding the fiberglass to the acrylic sheet using a vinyl ester resin. We have two coats that we put on. One is the vinyl ester and the other is a backup. That gives you all the strength to the acrylic sheet. So he's just putting that on. We're going to then hand laminate the actual fiberglass to the acrylic. This is where we trim the spa. What we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the excess acrylic, we're going to get rid of the excess fiberglass, and we're going to get a nice level line at around about that level. Once we do that, we are then going to sand the edges to make sure that it's nice and smooth, and you have a process ready to go into the next part of the production. So once we've actually trimmed the spa, we need to mark the spa for all the jets to go into the spa. So we'll have designated sizes for each particular jet. So we mark that out just before we drill. This part of production is where we actually install the jets into the drilled shell. So this part is crucial, that we align it to the holes and we make sure that the jets are in the right place. Once the jets have been siliconed and positioned ready for the actual flexing, we then go through the flexing process. So we will then put the air in first, which you can see here, and then we will go to the water section after that. At this point we are fitting the water manifolds to the water hose. So we are gluing and the heated hose onto the manifolds and also onto the jets. Over here we have a swim spa we're assembling. If you notice, we have a galvanised steel frame which is on all our swim spas. In this section we are putting on our control system with our control box. We are putting pumps and your ozone units as well. So all the equipment is fitted up here and all the hard plumbing is also fitted. Once we've flexed the spa, we then need to put the cabinet on the base of the spa. Once we've done that and put it all together, we'll actually have a finished product that will go to the production side of the spa manufacturer. This is our transducer speaker system. It is fiberglass to the shell of the spa, and we use the shell as the actual speaker. We're at the stage now that we want to test the spas. We test all our spas. Every single spa goes through this area here and is tested between 4 and 6 hours under working conditions, so that we need to know that every single joint that's been glued will expand and we won't have a situation where it's going to leak when it gets to you, the consumer. We are now at the final stage of QCing the spa. We're making sure all the jets are in the right position, all the headrests are on, it's nice and clean, there are no marks, there are no scratches, and we're just making sure that at the end of the day it's ready for delivery. So now you've seen how we put together our spas, our quality Australian made spas right here in Pakenham. This is the type of quality that we insist on every single spa that goes out our door, and we hope that you really will enjoy your Sapphire spa.